Howdy fellow model railroaders, my name is Kevin Brown and I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. In this episode I'm going to go through the rest of the construction of the bridge at the far end back here. No peeking. We'll go through that real quick and have a reveal. I'm very pleased with the way it's all turned out. I hope you guys like it too, guys and gals. Also my group, the N Scale of Bloomington Normal, had a meet at the Gridley Public Library in Gridley, Illinois. So I took some footage of that. We had a great time. It was a good experience. So I would like to share some of that as well. And so that's kind of the plan for today. So without any further ado, let's go through the end of the bridge project. Okay, we're back with progress on the bridge. As you can see, I've painted it. I primed it medium gray and dry brush. Let's see if you can see several different shades of lighter gray over it, and painted the front I-beam reddish brown, which seems like there's a choice looking at the bridges in town, reds and browns, but this looks like a pretty good color. And I spray painted the bottom of it black because I really don't want any light down there. So I've gotten that part done while I was waiting for, let me get this out of the way, the plastistruck. These are the parts to make the stonework surrounding the bridge supports. These are the two parts I used. I don't know if you can see. I bought both an HO and an N scale sheet, but the N scale was so tiny and I think it would be just lost, so I went ahead and used the HO sheet. As you can see, it has a irregular stone pattern on it. I think that'll be good if I can get it to show up. And using these parts, I built these. I'm sure you can't see the stone in that rack. I spray painted everything a primer black here so that it would look kind of grimy. I hope that works out okay. So my next step is to, these things ended up being quite delicate, so I'm going to probably tape them to the side of a box or something so that I can dry brush. Probably use the same shades of gray that I did on the bridge itself to bring out the stonework. And so that's the next step. Okay, here's the side pieces for the supports for the bridge. I've started with a black prime and dry brushed a couple different shades of lighter gray on it. I'm pretty happy with it. I had to glue or tape it to this box because this stuff is real bendy. So I'm going to go put a coat of dull coat on it, and then it'll be ready to mount. And it'll be interesting to see how that works because it is such a flexible material. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, I've glued the rock panels to the supports using the this sealant, which I've used for most of my modules to keep the buildings on. It holds pretty good. We'll see how well it holds. I'm a little worried because this stuff is so flexible. But we're just about done with this project. Next comes putting the bridge in place. Alrighty, the bridge is glued into place. I use the same silicone sealant that I generally use for my modules. It's strong and yet flexible. These modules get banged around quite a lot, so that works out pretty good at keeping things in place. The next stage is to put the roads on, and this is the product I like to use. It's from Europe. It has a backing. It's got adhesive on it, and the stuff is somewhat flexible, so it's easy to work with and put in place. So once I get and there's probably a little bit of touch-up painting, but at that point I should be finished. And so next I'll do the reveal. very pleased with the way the bridge turned out. It ends up finishing up my last backdrop and being the end of my scene. And the next stage is going to be I have to build a yard office and put some parking lots and put ground foam down here. That'll be the next stage. I'm looking forward to working on that. But it'll take a little while before I get to it. So next, I'd like to go over the N-Scale of Bloomington Normals setting up of our T-Track modules at the Gridley Public Library in Gridley, Illinois. We had a wonderful time, had quite a few people through. And I took some footage and I hope you enjoy it.
Want to hear the horn? You want to ask the man to hear the horn? I think this man would know how to make the horn blow.
You want to make the horn go?
You want to try it? You want to push a button and make it blow?
See that train right in front of you?
Gotta let it go.
Come on, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so it's just going to be this train right here. See the number 2 right there? Push the number 2 button. Hold it down. Now hold it down. The number 2 button. Here, what is this like usually? There you go. So now you hear it? No, it's not that one. Unfortunately, it's that one way down there. You see the number 1 button? Popular, most common. Has the most different types of trains, scenery, buildings. Be the most common.
They're
This
about
would be second.
1/4 the size of Lionel.
Yep. And so it just kind of goes, it shows you a little more than double this. Old Lionel was twice as big as that. Yeah. Lionel was also called OC. Lionel was built on a 1/4 scale. Or an inch to the foot. 1 to 48. Called half of the difference. Wasn't quite that 1 to 96, but it was one. The American Flyer was a little bit smaller than Lionel. It was 3/16 instead of a 1/4 inch. This is 1 to 1/16.
Okay.
So this 40-foot boxcar is 3 inches long, and it's 33 feet to the mile. No, just do it.
33
The scale monster.
Right.
I can fit this way.
Go for it. Don't let me bother you. Oh, yeah.
And there's some over here, and there's like a help right. And there's like this middle like a little one. And there's a big one. Look, I was seeing an alien actually down in the
We had a good time in Gridley. We had a lot of people we got a chance to meet, talked to a lot of people about their train stories and trains they had as a kid. As always, it was just a wonderful time. Next up for my group, the N-Scale of Bloomington Normal, we're going to hopefully be at the Urbana Train Show in Urbana, Illinois on March 30th and 31st. That's still kind of up in the air, trying to finalize that. Either way, we will be at the Decatur Train Show the next weekend, April 6th and 7th. That's a big show. We always have a good time. If you get a chance to come, I recommend it, and come stop by the layout and say howdy. So that kind of wraps things up for today. Oh, one last thing. When we were loading up for the N-scale, the meet in Gridley, I saw the progress on the club yard for T-Track. We're coming up with a staging yard that will also, a big long double-ended staging yard, which can be broken in half and become 2 stub yards that we can use for switching back and forth. They're making great progress on that. So that's something to look forward to. I'll probably highlight that a little later. So anyway, that's kind of it for the day. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, as always. If you like what you saw, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you very much.